Welcome to Feldy. Now get your butt out there and start farming.
Well, hello folks, that was a voice of Farmer Yip inviting us personally into his map to get our butts in gear, which is exactly what we've been doing for the previous 98 episodes. I always like to hear his voice periodically and put that on the recording. I just think that that's so unique that he put that into a recording. You know, I'd have to think a little bit. I don't know that I've seen another map where that has been done. Here now, we see another bit of machinery on here, and I had to pay a pretty penny for this thing. You may recall, if you've been with this series the whole time, that early on, this was sitting down in the quarry. And because we didn't have a need for it right away, we went and sold it. Well, as it turns out, I found a new use for this in helping us with these piles. And let me just see here real quick how much it cost. I think it was nearly 200 grand. Probably was over 200 by the time. Yeah, see, there was a shovel. Oops, where is it here? Here it is. So we spent 15 on the front bucket, if you will. What did I say, shovel? And then 95. Oh, I'm sorry. For some reason I thought it was 200. Okay, so it wasn't that at all. It was 110. Still, a substantial sum of money. Not that we're hurting. Like I said some time ago, our money woes have long been over. But I tried, like everything, and I'll show kind of how we're going to use this. I tried, like everything, to get this particular unit here, the conveyor belt, to fully pick up the piles. And I got to a point, first off, it was studying the code, to see just what kind of an animal is it this. Whenever you study that, you want to see kind of, oh, it's already reaching into the other pile there. I think this one here is a smaller one, only has, just under 20,000 liters. You want to kind of see how the script is finding and picking up, the... Hey now, I missed some of the harvest in here. There was some that were thrown out into the hedge. But you want to see how the script is finding the pile and grabbing the material. And I couldn't really see anything in the script that showed how to do it. And finally, here I think I'm too far forward. When I finally looked at it, what it said, I took a look at its specializations, because all I saw in the script, the thing that makes this do what it does, it has all sorts of doodads in it, to raise, to lower, to put it into transport mode, and to pick up the material, or not to really pick it up, but movement of the material. It has a certain fill level in here that it's maintaining. It's looking for a trailer, blah, blah, blah. All these things I could see in the script. But what I couldn't find is how does it find the pile to know where to pick it up. And it turns out there is a... I kept mentioning shovel. It's actually a shovel is what we have here. No different than what you have on the front loader over here. This is a type of shovel going into the pile, and it's picking material up and then transporting it across. Now, we're full here, so I'll take this down, make it turned around, and dump the load. But that's what's going on here. Now, if it was the regular shovel, in the Giants code that they provided for us, those that know a little bit of Lua to look at, well, that'd be one thing. But the author of this mod, and I think the reason they didn't use that particular shovel is, as far as I can tell by studying the Lua code that the Giants give for the regular shovel, it is dedicated to manure. Apparently, at this stage of the game, the Giants hadn't conceived that maybe there'd be other commodities, that the player would want to pick up with the front end loader or a shovel. So it was solely set up for manure. That's all it looks for, and that's all it would do. Well, fine and dandy if all you want to transport or haul in your conveyor happens to be manure. Matter of fact, before I even got the DLC and I was looking for mods, this is way back in the day, I seem to recall, oops, oh silly, I seem to recall finding this exact same conveyor belt, and the way it was set up at the time was to handle only manure. And so what I would do is take it up to, if you remember the standard map of ArmSim 11, I would take it over to where the cattle were. There was a manure pile there, and it somehow knew how to pick all that up. But this one here, the labeling on the mod, the caption of it is that it's set up for the DLC. Well, I could tell by looking at the specializations, and I have no idea how the mod author knew what the name of it was. There's some people out there that are just geniuses with this Lewis stuff. But he gave it a specialization that is in the DLC. And none of us are privy to that particular code. So I can't just crack the thing open and see, okay, now how does this shovel work? How far away from the shovel is it grabbing? What attributes, do I need to put in the XML to help it, find whatever it needs? I just, maybe there's someone out there that knows how to do that. I don't have those particular skills. So since I can't see it, that kind of limits my ability to make any updates, short of a whole bunch of trial and error, and mainly error. I know I've mentioned that before. Testing a Lewis script is, at least for me, when you don't know what you're doing and there's only certain things the Giants have chosen to reveal, can really be a difficult task to get into. Alright, let me see if I can... Let me go just a little bit further here. Is there any more I can pick up? Oh, alright, let me get into the next pile. And I think that'll do. Let me move my trailer. So, in short, and I'm sure you've probably already guessed the reason here, in order to fully clean up the piles down to zero to get rid of the spots in the field, as it were, I needed a front-end loader of some kind, but not just any front-end loader. I mean, I was thinking of just getting a little tractor that had a front-end loader. That's really all I need. I don't need this big old beast to be roaming around the fields, and furthermore, for the cost, at 110 grand, that is way more machine than I'm going to need out here just to, clean up these remnant piles. Now, this time around, I don't think I'm going to just sell it. Maybe I can take it back down to the quarry. Maybe I take it to the BGA for use there. But, I will say this particular conveyor belt, it did an awesome job at the BGA. So far as I'm aware, it cleaned up literally everything out of the silage clamps, and so there wasn't really a need for the wheel loader down there. Now, maybe I'll find out if I try to use it again that maybe that there's remnants of silage, but I'm pretty sure that in the indicator in the help menu it said it was fully cleaned out. So it did a great job down there, but it's flat. So I have a feeling it performs okay, when the ground is flat, but out here on these monstrous hills, who knows where the shovel is trying to pick up material. It's so much in these Lewis scripts, and what you're doing in there is very tight, and it's down to geometry and positions on the map that is calculating, and you're dealing with certain shaped, um, like the shovel thing and everything. So I mean, who knows what it needs to touch, how far away it needs to be, and there's just no way to really know without tearing apart the script. I suppose I could try some quick and dirty things using the regular shovel attributes, I don't know. But I have a feeling that with a new script, they probably gave it some different attributes just to distinguish it from the existing shovel. But if I was going to do it, that's probably where I'd start. Because I didn't see anything in the XML on the regular shovel stuff. So just one of those things in the background as I continue trying to mod and adjust and adapt for how we've been playing it in here. And still having a ball with the map. And you know, as I record this, if I'm not mistaken, this is the 99th episode. So as soon as I crack over 100, I had no idea when starting this. Matter of fact, all I was doing was intending to showcase just a little bit the excellence of Farmer Yip's mapping. You know, because I have another one, and this is a series I haven't gotten to on his Glen Ellie map. And so I was kind of starting that off, and then it's like, well, let's go take a look at this one, and then I came to back to this one, and I just felt a burst of nostalgia, and it's like, I gotta play this thing again. And by the way, I never fully finished, you know, playing it in the first place. So this time I think I can say we played the living daylights out of it. I think, if I recall correctly, looking at the log, that there's 150 some hours that we have into it. I've done a lot of it off cam too, so haven't bored you with all of it. But I've bored you with a chunk of it. Kind of got to cycle through these things again. Alright, let's pick up some more material. There we go. There we go. Yeah, and then we'll just kind of pick up these piles here. Oh, for goodness sakes. Actually, you know, since the piles only hold 40,000, you know, it's basically just 2 trailer loads. Yeah, see, moving this is similar to the effect it has, you know, when you move a shovel into a pile. I think it almost takes movement in order to pick up material. You know, kind of like we're doing here, you know, just the act of moving is helping us grab at least some of it. You know, we're not able to pick it all up, of course. Okay, that's probably all we're gonna get, and we may have a full trailer by now. If not, we are certainly close. So I'm gonna take it over here, and we'll get it set up in this field and get ready to haul these piles. There we go. Yeah, and while it's close to the material, you know, basically, so what it means is anytime we have a shovel, and we probably all discover this, is just get close to the pile and that puppy will fill. Alright, let's see here. I think we got full. Yep, we're full, so we'll go take a dump, haha. And the thing of it is we are, I think, well, I figure you gotta plant something, right? What I should have planted was potatoes. I need a field of potatoes next time. I don't think I planted any this time. I had 3 fields, or 2.5 at least, of sugar beets. And I just reminded again, the only place I can use the things is in the pig feed. So, how much do I have, incidentally? Cattle pig feed mill, there we go, 106,000 liters. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. Of course, it is a primary ingredient, so I need as much feed stuff to put in there, and then I already have some biofuel, so I'll need at some point to get the windrower going out, picking up feed stuff, and that's another thing that's kind of a long time coming. It's been a little while since I've been out to cut the oh man, as we pick up the rest of these piles, we're just putting more in here. Cheem and 8. We're gonna have a lot. But that's another thing I'm kind of looking forward to testing. You know, it's in several episodes ago, but I did a bunch of work on the script that is used for I think it's a forage harvester, the one that picks up the windrow. What it was doing is it was killing anything underneath. And when it's a perennial crop, you know, kind of like, you know, if you're picking up, well, the peas wouldn't be, but the red clover is perennial. So it was killing the red clover. I think that was a primary problem. Well, now I think I have it fixed, at least according to the testing that I've done, kind of on another save. You know, this kind of my junk save for that kind of thing. I think it'll work, but don't really know. We'll find out if in here, which is where the problem is, you know, if it truly has fixed it. So, alright. Guess I don't need to see that. Let me hop out of here. I gotta be careful I don't stack too much of this stuff up. I think at 7 o'clock we'll have the milk truck be coming up here, so the controls are exactly the opposite of what I'm used to. I can hit the K key to... There we go. Can I see? Okay, we took it all the way down to 0. Whoa. That thing is 50% full. It looks 100% full, by the way. Oh, nope, I can't be doing it that way. Hit the right key. Yeah, back in this version at least, you know. Now, there's a problem here. I've got an error in the script. You'll notice it says sugar beet 0 liters. Well, that's still a remnant from the previous pile. I think it'll clear once we get into this one here. Or maybe it won't. What are you doing? Are you really only... There we go. Okay, there it has both piles, so maybe if I go through a couple of them, it's going to register both. I don't know. I'm just trying to pick up a doggone pile and get it out of my field so that I can cultivate it here and bring in the planter to next year. So I'm just trying to clean up the harvest, get everything out of the field that we worked so hard to grow. Obviously, I'm not used to this silly wheel loader, so I'm very... Oh, interesting. There's no particle animation coming out of the bucket. Is that how it was back in the Farm Sim 11 era? Maybe it was. I do know you can't... The bucket won't go down in there. There's kind of a rectangular cube in here, and yeah, I don't think the collisions will let you go down in there. Alright, we're done with him, so we'll just kind of park it right here. We'll move our tractor trailer. But you know, I got to thinking that maybe this outcome is better for realism anyhow. You know, it's kind of handy since everybody can see, you know, how poorly I know how to, you know, do the front end loader work. It's kind of handy if your conveyor belt is able to pick up everything off the ground, but in real life, that probably isn't what would happen. I mean, if you've got a big old pile, sure, you can jam a conveyor into it and it's going to pick up a lot of material and move it. But there ain't no way, you know, as you look how this thing is built here, I mean, we're already suspending reality somewhat. There's no way that the conveyor is going to pick up all of the material on the ground. So you would end up needing a front end loader anyhow to pick up the last, you know, little bits. So this is fine. But it doesn't make me wonder, you know, I kind of wanted a smaller tractor, although we didn't have as many options back, you know, in this era of Farm Sim 11. I seem to recall even the Giants in-game tractor, let's say they had the Toots tractors, that there was only one of them set up with a front end loader, and it came with the tractor. You had to buy it with it, and I don't think you could just attach a front end loader to any of the other tractors. Maybe there were mods that had that feature available, but I don't remember. So even then, you know, I could have wanted a smaller tractor, but I had a choice of, one. One to do it, and I would then need to modify a bucket for it or write a script so that it accepted it. And if I just did it with a script, it probably wouldn't have the correct fill plane in it. So in other words, when you pick it up, it probably would look like manure instead of sugar beets. So yeah, it just is what it is. I guess we bought a big one and we could just use it multiple places. So anywho, we'll get our piles cleaned up here, and then we'll continue cultivating, tearing out our root crop fields. That's kind of where we had to stop because we had piles in them to pick up. And then we have a bunch of barley here to deal with. There's 2 fields of barley up close. Yeah, one is just on the right here. And then we head over to the northwest part of the map. I think I made that all barley, so just to make it easier to haul things there, the trailer gets full. And then we have the new portion of the map to harvest, our new fields. Clear over the air, so we're doing, I think there's 3 fields we'll be harvesting for the first time this particular harvest season. And that kind of makes me, you know, earlier I mentioned, you know, this was, oh my, I guess I can go pouring over the top of it and it's still, that doesn't look right. Get over here, get a reach trailer here. Oh, come on. Close enough to government work. But I mentioned earlier that we were on our 99th episode. I don't know how many there will be. I think I mentioned one other time. I basically want to experience everything the map has to offer before I move on to another series. I hope the series that I've done so far has done Farmer Yip proud and has adequately showcased what he created, as long as, you know, some other things that we've enjoyed along the way. But there's still a couple things left to. Okay, now is it? Nope, we're not full. So I gotta do this again. We'll take our conveyor belt, and try to load some more material in it. There we go. How much is in here? There we go. I think I can usually get them down to about 1,200 liters, give or take. But it may just be enough of a slope that I'm not going to be able to do that here. Let's see if I can turn it over. Nope, I don't think I can. So up here we're going to go. I think this is another 40,000 liter pile. Should have no trouble dipping out of that. Alright, let me just run down here. So another thing I wanted to go over in this episode was just kind of exploring where we're at, and I know I did this one other time, you know, sharing some of the things that we still had to do. So I literally have kept notes, and I can't remember all this stuff. You know, things that I wanted to fix or deal with, and some of these I've tried to cross them off as I get them done, whether it's fixing a script or trying to adapt something, such as this conveyor belt. Let's see here. Okay, I have on my list, I want to harvest the new areas. So there's 2 fields kind of off to the north and west, and I also want to harvest the new island. Yeah, that's what I just mentioned a little bit ago. 3 new fields never before been harvested. The fourth new field we've harvested several times. I know I've mentioned that before. So those are really the only field additions I made to the map. And yeah, I'd be curious. Who knows? It's gotta be fascinating to a modern mapper to see how someone uses, whatever it is that you created. Particularly a map such as it is. So maybe someday I'll run into Farmer Yip and just ask him. And for all I know, he is secretly watching these and hoping I don't besmirch his wonderful creation. I'm trying not to, Yip. Okay, another thing on my list is to make granular fertilizer. And in order to do that, see, we've been using the kelp converter, which is pretty easy. You go get seaweed, you put in some biofuel into it, and voila, it gives you kelp fertilizer. I think in a previous episode I proved it's actually cheaper in terms of resources and effort to do that. But in wanting to explore the whole game, I need to make some granular fertilizer. So in order to do that, not only do I need biofuel, I'm also going to need rock coming from the quarry, and then some silica. And in order to get the silica up, gotta take the rock to, it's just above the quarry. I know you've seen in a previous episode, I've tried to load it up with rock so they can crush it into silica. So I gotta haul silica from there down to the fertilizer maker. I almost think I gotta take them water too. Maybe water is another ingredient, and then biofuel, of course, to create the granular fertilizer. Well, and then a question I'm going to have is how to spread the stuff. I assume I can use the same fertilizer spreader that I've been using. That kind of wonky thing. I never have tried to take some time to learn how to add some weight so that it drives a little better. I assume there'd be a way to do that. I just haven't tried to figure it out. So, but yeah, that needs to be done. I may need to buy a different fertilizer spreader just to do that. So I have some work coming up in the quarry. I believe in the map, I don't know if I'll make this modding change. It took a lot of work, and I think it potentially drains some resources. But you may remember the episode with the hogs, where I showed what I did in the map, so that as you have more and more hogs in your pasture, you'll see more of them pop up as they are produced, if you will, by the script. And if you don't have any, well then you're not going to go over by the hog shed, you won't hear hogs, you won't see hogs, you'll see nothing. Whereas the way it was originally set up, you could see these static models of hogs standing around out in the pig pen, and you could hear the pigs grunting and everything, even though you had none. And the same is true of the cattle, of the chickens, and of the sheep. So matter of fact, that sound you just heard of a cow mooing is from that. So one thought I had was to do with the other animals what I did with the hogs. And really, maybe as I think on it now, the only animal I should do it to is the cattle, because I think it's almost presumed that you have sheep up there because their production is wool. Whereas on these other ones, I suppose you could presume that you already have a herd. If they're going to be producing calves for you. So I don't know. Maybe my assumption's all wrong, and I should have maybe a small group of animals always there. As I think on it now, because you can't make hogs or cattle out of nothing. So I'm thinking of making that change, but since this is never going to be released. What I've just done here has just been for my own amusement. it's hardly worth going to the effort. But it was fun to figure out that I could. There's also another thing we need to do is Farmer Yip's secret mission. Now, if you read his manual carefully, he does give you clues as to how to do it. And I think I mentioned it maybe in the previous episode, it has to do with this dosh stuff. And there's a tip trigger up by the church down in the town. And I think that's where the materials go. And according to the manual, even though the page on the secret mission is blank, as if you have something to figure out, on a different page, Farmer Yip lays out, what's needed for the secret mission. And I think he said you need some eggs, you need some ham, and you need some chips, or I would take that to mean potatoes. So we still need to do that. Just how much of it we need, that part I don't know. I don't know if the manual says either. Well, and there's the bell. Guess we're still dumping in the trailer. So there's that, and maybe what I'll do here is I'll finish trying to grab whatever I can from this silly pile. How much is left? Not bad. I was able to get it down to just a little bit. I'll move it on to the next. And I think by the time we get to the next episode, I'll have everything in here cleaned up and we'll be moving on to our other harvest. So for now, I'll let everyone go with that. Thank you for coming along for the ride, and I'll see you on the next one.